Hey guys, it's Terry Edelman back with the final NHL Division preview show. Today I'm going to be talking about the Pacific Division, looking at forward, defense, and goaltending depth for each of the three teams, or each of the 8 teams, and then talking future bets that I like for each team, if there are any, and then ranking each team from best to worst in my power rankings to start this season. Some teams I don't have any futures for. This division, there's a few teams I really like futures for, and there's a few teams that I'm passing on because there's some wild cards I think here in the Pacific Division. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know in the comments below what do you think about the different Pacific teams and your thoughts on the Pacific Division. But we will start with the first team, which is the Anaheim Ducks. And if you look at the Ducks roster here, 2 additions to their top 6, and then 1 addition to the bottom line. Chris Kreider coming over from New York, Leo Carlsson and Troy Terry, Cutter Gauthier, Mikael Granlund, and Alex Killorn, Vetrano, Strome, Colangelo, Ross Johnston, Ryan Poling, and Jansen Harkins. The top line I like. I think Chris Kreider could probably move to the second line at times. I think the Ducks will experiment here with their forward lines because they have a pretty decent forward group overall. Leo Carlsson, Troy Terry, I really like those 2 together. I think they're going to really develop a strong chemistry. Frank Vetrano, definitely a good player for goals and shots on goal. Strome, a good assister as well, so plays well with Vetrano. Mikael Granlund coming over here, signing a big contract with Alex Killorn and Cutter Gauthier. I think that's going to be very important for the Ducks, is to get some offense from that second line and have some consistency here. Because as you can see at the top right, Mason McTavish unsigned. Everything that's being reported is that they are not quite close on a deal. Now, of course, things can change. But the Ducks, while I do like their forward group overall, you really need McTavish in there because that just makes this forward depth so much stronger. You have McTavish. You probably put him on the second line, and maybe you can move Granlund to the wing. There's lots that you could do if and when McTavish gets signed, but that should be a big priority for the Ducks because it's been a while since the Ducks made the playoffs. They've been kind of that bottom tier team in the Pacific Division for a while now. We started last year to see them take that next step last year. And now are they going to continue to take that next step? Of course, now Joel Quenneville coming back to the NHL to be head coach for the Ducks. Overall, I think he's going to, of course, it's been a few years now. It's been a few years since he's last been a coach. Of course, the game has been changing throughout the years, but I think overall he's going to do well with this Ducks team. The Ducks, 22-23, they had 58 points. 23-24, they had 59 points. Last year, they had 80 points. Still no playoffs, 35, 37, and 10 for 80 points. I think this team finishes with a winning record this year. But I just don't know. We'll get to the future bets here in a little bit. But this forward group overall, I think is pretty decent. You got to get McTavish signed because he's an integral player in this forward group. If you want to make the playoffs, you got to get him signed. Taking a look at the defense for the Anaheim Ducks, and I have to say I really, really like the defense for the Anaheim Ducks, specifically the left side. The Anaheim Ducks are set for a long time on that left side. Owen Zellweger, a good a defensive defenseman, but a very highly a prospect with a lot of high ceiling, and has played very well in the NHL so far. Radko Gudas, a very good defensive shot blocker, a strong defenseman. Jackson Lacombe, absolute moneymaker for me last year. Jackson Lacombe point props, meaning plus money when he was on these point streaks, was just great. Definitely caught my eye. And the Pavel Mintyukov as well. Another young, he had his moments last year when it came to the point prop. Now he's on the third pair. Don't really think we're going to see his point prop, unfortunately, very much. But I love that left side of the defense for the Anaheim Ducks. I think they are absolutely stacked on the left side. Drew Hellison, another young guy playing with Jackson Lacombe. We'll see if he can have a good season this year. Jacob Trouba, of course, veteran, coming over from the Rangers during last season. Brings that veteran presence, and I think a good fit for Pavel Mintyukov there on the bottom pair, and then Ian Moore is an extra defenseman. So the defense has the potential to be good for this Anaheim Ducks team and to take a next step forward, and could be a reason why this team improves from their record last year. Taking a look at goaltending. Well, of course, John Gibson is gone, but the Ducks feel okay with that because you've got Lucas Dostal, a goalie that I've been very high on for a while now. A very talented prospect, and he's shown it in the NHL. 23, 23, and 7 last year, 54 starts overall, 310 goals against average, 903 save percentage. Of course, not much of a defense in front of him. Again, young guys, and then the Ducks retooling their defense throughout the season as well. Peter Mrazek and Ville Husso as backups and a third. I don't know what to expect from those two guys. First of all, how long will they actually be healthy? And then if they are healthy, how are they going to play? There's major question marks with the backup goaltending position for the Anaheim Ducks. But luckily, that's an okay position to have question marks because if the Ducks are doing well, if Lucas Dostal is playing very well, the team overall is doing well, they're in a playoff position or in the playoff hunt, they could very well make a trade for a backup goalie to bolster that position if needed. So it's not a season over because you don't have a backup. You can go get one, so it'll be okay. Looking at future bets if they need one, because maybe Peter Mrazek or Ville Husso plays very well, and then you don't even need a backup goaltender. Future bets for the Ducks, of course, they have some young players in the offense. I'd like the forward group overall, and obviously I mentioned the defense that I like as well. But point wise, I was not able to find Jackson Lacombe point season prop overall, but Lucas Dostal over 25.5 wins, minus 110. Of course, last year 23 wins, going 23, 23, and 7. I think he gets a large majority of the starts here. He is the future for this Anaheim Ducks team, and I think he can get to close to 30. It all depends on how this Ducks team does as well. If they are kind of the same as last year, a few more wins, I think he can get it overall. But if they do improve, then this is going to cash. Because if they win a ton of games, Lucas Dostal, as long as he stays healthy, would be getting the majority of those wins. So that's what I'm looking at for the Anaheim Ducks. Taking a look at the Calgary Flames, we've got Jonathan Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri, and Matthew Coronato on the top line. Huge fan of Matthew Coronato. Was kind of hoping that the Wild would draft him, but obviously that didn't happen. I think he's a good spot there on the top line with Kadri and Huberdeau, who had a better season last year, a bounce-back season. Connor Zary, Mikhail Backlund, and Blake Coleman. On that second line, again, Connor Zary, like Coronado, good offensive forward that still has room to improve. Mikhail Backlund, Blake Coleman, older guys, in my opinion, more third-line players, I think, on a contender. So the fact that they're both on the second line, I think, kind of says something about this Flames forward group. Joel Farabee, Morgan Frost, Igor Sharangovich on that third line. And like the other divisions, the third line of some teams, that's where my interest is. And Igor Sharangovich had a good year last year. Morgan Frost, the Flames are really going to hope that he plays well this year. Because if you do have offense throughout the three lines, that's what the Flames really need, is to bolster their offense. Ryan Lomberg, a good fourth-line player. Martin Pospisil and Adam Klapka, and also other guys in Dryden Hunt and Justin Kirkland. Overall, I like the top line, but there are some question marks in the forward group here for the Flames. They're going to need offense from the different lines. We'll see if they're able to get it. Defensive depth, Kevin Ball and Rasmus Anderson, Joel Hanley and Mackenzie Weegar, Jake Bean and Zane Parikh. Some young guys here in Bean and Zane Parikh. So the Flames' younger third D pair there. Rasmus Anderson, of course, a veteran, longtime Flame. Mackenzie Weegar, obviously coming over in that Huberdeau trade there a couple years ago. Dependable defenseman. Kevin Ball, Joel Hanley. Flames going to be hoping that they can play well this year. Then you've got a couple other guys, Braden Paschal and Danil Maramonov. So some depth here. We'll see how the Flames defensive core plays with an offense that I think isn't going to be lighting up on a nightly basis. You're going to need to really play well defensively in front of your goaltenders for the Flames to compete for a playoff spot. Looking at the goalies, Dustin Wolf. What a fantastic season he had last year. 29, 16, and 8. 2.64 goals against average and a .910 save percentage. Smaller guy, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter, and he proves it. Ivan Prosvetov and Devin Cooley competing for the backup position. Question marks there. But as I say all the time, goaltenders, up and down years, some guys will really surprise you. If the Flames can get some decent backup goaltending, I think they're going to have very good, strong starting goaltending. You get some defense. Flames are going to win games 2-1, 3-2 for the most part, in my opinion. Taking a look at future bets here for the Flames, the only thing I could consider or would consider here is Dustin Wolf over 26.5 wins, -115. As I said, he had 29 wins last year. He's obviously the future he is the number one goalie here on this team and the future in net for the Flames. They've got a good one here in Dustin Wolf. I don't think he takes a big step back from last year. The Flames team overall, though, not quite sure exactly where they're going to fit. So that's something to consider when you're looking at a goaltender win prop, is you also do need the team in front of him to play well. And the Flames, kind of like Ottawa and kind of like Nashville, are a team that I could see moving in different positions throughout the year. And I don't have the best grasp on where they're going to finish at the end of the season, or where they're going to finish here in the Pacific. Next up, we will take a look at the Edmonton Oilers. Back-to-back years making the Stanley Cup Finals and back-to-back years losing to the Florida Panthers. So Edmonton is going to hope that they can go all the way this year and win it all. Kind of like the Wild, they're with Connor McDavid. Obviously, Oilers fans wanting him to sign his extension. Hasn't happened yet. And could be a little bit of a distraction overall because Kirill Kaprizov, very important to the Minnesota Wild. Connor McDavid, extremely important to the Edmonton Oilers. The top line looking like it's going to be Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid together to start the season. Now, of course, we've seen this before in game. They get moved around as well, so no big surprise there. Trent Frederic on that top line. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think he is more of a third line or fourth line player, in my opinion, but we'll see if he actually starts the season on the top line and how long he actually stays there. Zach Hyman, of course, injured, so he would probably be in that top spot, or on the second line, but starting the season on IR. Vasily Podkolzin, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Kasperi Kapanen on that second line. Nugent-Hopkins, long-time Oiler, dependable, good second-line center there. Vasily Podkolzin, one of those players the Oilers are going to hope can take that next step forward, provide some more offense there on that second line. Kasperi Kapanen as well. Andrew Mangiapane, Adam Henrique, and Matthew Savoy on that third line. Will this line have some good chemistry? I'm interested to see how these guys play together. Matthew Savoy, a prospect, I'm interested to watch this year. If that third line can provide some offense and take a little bit of the pressure off that top line. Not that there's really a lot of pressure, but that's where obviously huge portion of the offense comes from. And if you can have it spread out a bit, it's much more dangerous for this Oilers team. Isaac Howard, Matthias Janmark, and David Tomasek projected to be on the fourth line there. And other guys in Max Jones, Curtis Lazar. Overall, with the forward group for the Edmonton Oilers, they've got Draisaitl, they've got McDavid, and they've got Nugent-Hopkins here. And I'm not going to say that's all they need, but the core. You want to get Zach Hyman back healthy and ready, but this Oilers team, it's not that I'm going to say they don't necessarily care about the regular season, but they have their eyes past that, past the regular season. Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard is the top D pair. Evan Bouchard, obviously the guy on the power play. He's the offensive defenseman on this team. Matthias Ekholm, a good two-way defenseman there. Good spot on the top line. Darnell Nurse has his good moments, has his bad moments. Overall known for his contract, the size of his contract. Unfortunately, that's what he's more known for. But a good second pair defenseman, Jake Wellman, a great addition from the Sharks previously there. Brett Kulak, Ty Emberson on that third pair, and then you've got other guys in Josh Brown and Troy Stecher. The defense for Edmonton is going to be average, I think. Obviously, you've got Evan Bouchard in the top pair providing that offense. Wallman as well can do some offense as well in that second line, or second pair. What will you get from the third pair? That's to be determined, like a lot of teams. Looking at the goaltending. Yeah, looking at the goaltending. Stuart Skinner, Calvin Pickard. I really don't know what to say. Obviously, they've got back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Stuart Skinner's been there. Pickard. They've both had their moments throughout the playoffs, contributing for the Oilers to get them to the Stanley Cup finals, but not able to get the job done. And I look at this Oilers goaltending, and in my opinion, if they now, of course, Florida, Alexander Barkov gone the entire season, maybe the playoffs as well. Tkachuk will be back before the playoffs, but I'm not going to say Florida's vulnerable, but Edmonton, if you could just get that stud goalie, if you could just get that dependable starting goaltender, both of these guys great backups. But the Oilers, it's always been the goaltending. For years now, everyone's always talked about when are the Oilers going to improve their goaltending. You've got a guy like Connor McDavid, and then you've got Leon Draisaitl as well. Two of the top 5 players in the NHL. If you just had a goaltender, then you could go all the way. Future bets, none. And reason being, I think there is a better team in this division than the Edmonton Oilers. A team that I think could go farther in the playoffs than the Edmonton Oilers, as the teams are constructed right now. So, obviously, Oilers players, not a lot of value on their props. You're looking at McDavid point or Draisaitl point props, very high numbers. Obviously, you need them to stay healthy. Injuries happen. Nothing caught my eye for Edmonton when it comes to future bets. I know maybe a surprise, but nothing that really interested me here for Edmonton. Taking a look at the LA Kings, Andrei Kuzmenko, Anze Kopitar in his final season, and Adrian Kempe, unsigned. Rumors about him as well. Or not unsigned. He's able to sign an extension, but hasn't signed his extension yet. Like some other top players in the league. Overall, good top line. Kempe, the goal scorer. Kopitar, the assist guy. Kuzmenko can do a little bit of both. On the second line, Kevin Fiala, Quinton Byfield, and Alex Laferriere. Laferriere, great for shot props. If he could take that next step for the Kings this year, they have a very solid second line. And Byfield, Laferriere, still players that I'm not going to say are super young, but they're still a little bit more probably there for potential wise. From those guys, Kevin Fiala, you know what you're going to get from him. He's going to go on these hot streaks where he scores a bunch of goals and he's great offensively. And then he's going to have some defensive miscues here and there. But overall, very strong top 6 for the Kings. Warren Fogle, Philip Deneau, and Trevor Moore together again. Not surprising. The 3 guys have a ton of chemistry together and have provided a lot of scoring depth for this Kings team. I remember last year when these 3 would go on streaks together, their point props, you would have to bet all 3, or you could bet all 3 because they were all hot at the same time and contributing for the offense. So the Kings, 3 scoring lines, 3 lines that can score. Jeff Mallett, Alex Turcotte, and Joel Armia as the 4th line, a pretty decent 4th line in my opinion. And then you've got some other guys, and Akil Thomas, Andre Lee, and Samuel Hellenis. So other guys trying to make the lineup if there's injuries and that type of thing. But overall, the Kings known for that defensive goaltending type style of play, but there's some offense here. There is some offense. Looking at the defensive depth, Mikey Anderson and old man Drew Doughty on the top pair. Decent, solid top line or top pair. Joel Edmondson and Cody Ceci on that second pair. Brian Dumoulin and Brant Clark on the third pair. So the Kings bringing in Brian Dumoulin and Cody Ceci to try to bolster their defense. Question marks on if it'll actually make them that much better. You've got younger guys in Kyle Burrows and Jacob Moverare as well, trying to get into this defensive group. Brant Clark, a young player, defenseman I'm going to keep an eye on. Highly touted prospect for the Kings. So a guy that the Kings could use to take that next step for their defense. Goaltending, Darcy Kemper, starting goaltender once again, and the Kings bringing in Anton Forsberg to be backup. And Kemper can be very, very good at times. It can be very solid for the Kings. Played for the Kings before. Now he's back with them again. Anton Forsberg, a dependable backup for the Kings. Obviously, he's had being with Ottawa in the past. Now coming over here, I think he's at a good spot to be the backup for the Kings. I think the Kings can have some good goaltending as they've had in the past. Future bets. I know I didn't have any for Edmonton, and now I don't have any for LA. And I do think LA is going to have a good season. I'm interested in obviously, I like their forward group overall, and I'm going to be betting some Kings player props. But season-long props, nothing that really interested me here. So the Kings, when it comes to future bets, I've got nothing. But I do have some for this next team, which we'll talk about here. The San Jose Sharks. And I don't know why I get excited to talk about the San Jose Sharks. If I wasn't a Wild fan, I would be looking at the Sharks because I think this team is to be so fun to watch now and for years and years to come. And this team is going to be an offensive juggernaut here in a couple of years. I know the Sharks have been the worst team, and they finished as the worst team in the NHL last year. I don't obviously think they finish last this year. I mentioned in the Central previous show who I think finishes last, but this Sharks team. So bringing in Jeff Skinner over from the Edmonton Oilers, and people might be thinking, oh, played with Edmonton last year and now he's coming to San Jose. That's going to suck. I don't think so. If he does stay on this top line, you're playing with Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, two young guns that are going to be big names in this league for years and years and years. So I think Jeff Skinner is a very good line mate for those guys, obviously to bring some veteran presence and kind of mentor those two who are going to be very, very offensively gifted players. William Eklund, he's been a great player for the Sharks the last few years. Michael Missa and Igor Chernyshov. So a young line there. Michael Missa, the second best odds to win the Calder Trophy, of course, behind Ivan Demidov. William Eklund, I could see him on the top line at times. Maybe Jeff Skinner moves to the second line, but very talented top six forward for the Sharks team. Quentin Musty, again, another young guy. Alex Wenberg and Tyler Toffoli. Solid third line. Quentin Musty, obviously, we'll see how he does. Wenberg, probably more of a fourth line guy, but hey, it is what it is. And then Tyler Toffoli, back again for the Sharks. Barclay Goodrow, Adam Gaudette, and Ryan Reeves as the fourth line. Not a line I'd want to play against. That's a pretty physical fourth line. Exactly kind of what you want a fourth line to be. And then you've got other guys in Philip Kurashev, Ty DeAndrea, and Carl Gunstrom trying to make the roster. And then a whole bunch of other prospects that I haven't mentioned. And there could be surprises there. The Sharks, still very young, but a ton of talent, a ton of top prospects. So probably growing pains. I'm not going to say that the Sharks are a playoff team. Obviously, we'll get to that later, but I think there's going to be money to be made on props with this team, with the team total over for this team, maybe overs in general. I think the Sharks are going to be a team that I am betting on in some fashion a lot this year. I'm very excited about this Sharks team and their future. Mario Ferraro, Timothy Liljegren as the top pair. Nick Leddy and John Klingberg, pair number 2. And then Shakir Mukhamadullin and Dmitry Orlov as the third pair. The Sharks revamping their defense, bringing in obviously veterans Nick Leddy, John Klingberg, and Dmitry Orlov from St. Louis, Edmonton, and Carolina. Klingberg, health issues overall in the past. I don't think this is the best defense overall. Maybe Klingberg moves down to the third pair, or Orloff moves up. You got him, a veteran. I think that would be a better spot there. The top pair is not a top defensive pair in this league. So the weakness isn't the forward group, in my opinion. The weakness is the defense. And the Sharks making some additions here, but long term, not going to be involved here. Jock Thompson, Shakir, Muka, Doolin, more long-term players. Askarov making his first season as the starting goaltender, Alex Nedeljkovic as the backup for the San Jose Sharks. And wild cards. Askarov is not going to have a lot of help in front of him defensively. He's going to get held out to dry at sometimes. But very talented goaltender. He's been a top goalie prospect at times in this league. So we'll see. We'll see how he can do. I know the team's going to score some goals for him. It's just, is he going to be able to stop enough that the Sharks can win some games? Overall, we'll go to future bets here. I don't think this is the year that the Sharks should really be going all in or adding at the deadline. I could still see them moving some guys. One more year of top draft picks in this team would just be in a very heavy draft, talented draft. I still think the Sharks are going to be competing for a top pick. I don't know necessarily the first overall, but we'll see. Macklin Celebrini. Last year, 70 games played, 25 goals, 38 assists for 63 points. Just scratching the surface on what this kid has in talent. Yes, sophomore year, sophomore slump, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think so. Celebrini, 70 plus points, plus 100, 80 plus points, plus 260. I think this guy's going to be a point per game player. Can he stay healthy the whole year? If so, I think he's going to go past the 80-point range. So I'm a huge fan of Macklin Celebrini. And then who is he playing with? Well, Will Smith. Will Smith last year, 74 games played, 18 goals, 27 assists for 45 points. Was on the third line, was on the second line for the Sharks team. He's in his second year now. Again, these young players continue to develop. He, I think, is just scratching the surface as well, what he can do. So I like him to get 60-plus points. And Ivan Demidov, I think he wins the Calder. I do. I think he wins the Calder. But if there's someone that's going to compete with him, I think it could be Michael Missa here to win the Calder Trophy plus 1,200. This Sharks team is just, if you look right here, this is just three of the guys. This Sharks team, the forward group is just going to be insane in a couple years. This team is going to score a ton of goals. Probably some growing pains still this year. Guys will have up and downs. Some of these guys will go on big streaks. And we'll make some money on it. So I'm super excited for the Sharks. I know, crazy to say. Crazy. The Seattle Kraken are up next. And Seattle's a very interesting team. I was on their point total over last year. It didn't work out. They were one of those teams that just had that, everyone just had a down year. The Kraken, not a team that I was really backing much last year. Just a rough season. Now, only two additions here to the forward group. Mason Marchment coming over from Dallas and Frederick Gaudreau from the Wild. But I think that's okay because this Seattle forward group, I like it. Jared McCann, Matty Beniers, Capo Caco on the top line. Matty Beniers didn't have a good year last year. Capocacco didn't have a good year last year. Both guys, I think, will have better seasons this year. Jared McCann, the goal scorer. I like him on that top line there. Marchment, Chandler Stevenson, and Eli Tolvanen. Tolvanen, obviously, the goal scorer there. Stevenson, Marchment, capable players. I could see that maybe being more the third line. And then having James Schwartz, Jordan Eberle, and Shane Wright. That's kind of the second line. All three of those guys can go on point streaks. They did at different times last year. Keeping Eberle healthy will be important. But looking at those three lines that can score, in my opinion. Ty Carte, Frederick Gaudreau, and Yanni Naiman on the fourth line. A good fourth line overall. Frederick Gaudreau, I think, is a good fourth line player. And then you've got Cartier, who Kraken will be hoping to have a good season here, as well as Naiman and other guys in Stevens and Hayden trying to crack the lineup. So the Kraken are a team, a lot of people aren't high on them again this year. But the way I look at it is so many people had bad seasons last year for the Kraken, down seasons compared to other previous years, and I just feel like they're not all going to have bad years again this year. And if they all have good years, all of a sudden the Kraken could be a really good team. So they're a team I'm going to be keeping my eye on, especially early on in the season. Vince Dunn and Adam Larsson on the top pair. Keep Vince Dunn healthy. Great offensive and top pair defenseman. Adam Larsson, the defensive guy, a good defensive defenseman for the Kraken. Bring in Ryan Lindgren, physicality, again, a very strong defensive defenseman, with Brandon Montour, who's an offensive guy. Again, a kind of a down season last year. Alexiak and Riker Evans on that third pair. I like it. I really like this defensive core. Really, all three pairs I like. Alexiak, a very big guy. Riker Evans, that young guy. The Kraken hope take that step forward. Fleury and Josh Mahura, depth guys in case of injury. If this Kraken defense stays healthy, they have depth. They have depth at forward. Obviously, they don't have those star forwards, and maybe they don't have the star defensemen, and that's why this Kraken team it's been kind of mediocre. It's just because that maybe they don't have those star players, but hoping some of these young guys can become the star players. Taking a look at the goaltending, Joey Decord, I like him. Should be the starter. Should get a majority of the starts. Grubauer, he's the backup. Really, maybe a third goalie. I think the Kraken, if they are flirting with a playoff spot, I could see Grubauer being someone that gets moved, and the Kraken maybe trying to improve the goaltending a bit here. But in my opinion, a very solid team from top to bottom. Looking at future bets, no team future bets, because even though I really like this roster, again, they don't have those star players, and maybe these two can become stars. Shane Wright, last year, 79 games played, 19 goals, 25 assists, 44 points. I want him on the second line. I want that third line to be the second line when it comes to minutes played, and maybe even consider moving to the top line at times. Shane Wright, a bright spot for the Kraken last year. I think he's that player that's still developing and still growing. And I think he could have a better season this year and continue to improve. So 50 plus points, plus 110, 60 plus points, plus 330. Very nice odds there. I think he can get to 50. I'm not quite sure he can get to 60, but there's just value. So something I'm considering here. Decord over 25.5 wins, 27, 23, and 5 last year. 2.73 goals against average, 906 save percentage. Because I look at this Kraken team and how many players kind of had down years last year, I do think the Kraken are going to improve, and I don't think it's going to be because Grubauer is starting a bunch of games. So I think the Kraken can improve, win some more games. Corda 27 wins last year. His win total's at 25.5. I think he can go over that. So these are the props I'm considering for the Seattle Kraken. Next up is the Vancouver Canucks. Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Brock Besser on the top line. Brock Besser re-signing with Vancouver to stay was a bit of a surprise. I think a lot of people thought maybe he would move on and go to another team, but decided to stay. Evander Kane coming over from Edmonton, Philip Hedl, and Jonathan Lekkerimäki on that second line. Solid second line. Interested to see how Lekkerimäki does this season. Nils Hoglander, Teddy Bluger, and Connor Garland on that third line. I like it, a dependable third line. Connor Garland, obviously offensively talented at times. He can go on point streaks. Teddy Bluger, a good third, fourth line guy. Drew O'Connor, Atu Radi, and Kiefer Sherwood on the fourth line. Really interested to see how Radi does this year. Can he move up the lineup? Maybe he can get onto that third line and put Bluger on the fourth line at times. And then you've got Linus Karlsson as well. So I can see some offense from the Canucks here. The Canucks, again, a team that had a very strong season 2 years ago and then kind of a down year last year. Did they add enough to the forward group here to really improve this year? No, but because guys had down years, Elias Pettersson, a down year, obviously the JT Miller drama, that's gone now. That's done. So can Pettersson be that number one elite center? I think the Canucks are going to score goals on that top line. I think that top line is going to score some goals. How much offense do they get from the bottom three lines? That'll be something to watch. Taking a look at the defense, Quinn Hughes and Filip Hronek as the top pair. Offense. Quinn Hughes, very talented offensive defenseman. Filip Hronek, when Hughes was hurt, Hronek went on the power play, and I'm not going to say it was just like Quinn Hughes, but Hronek point prop was a winner last year on different streaks because he got that power play time and he played very well. Looking like he'll start on the top D pair, so could be a potential guy to look at. Quinn Hughes point props, you're not going to be able to bet singly unless you lay minus 170 or whatever it's going to be, so I probably wouldn't look there, but Hronek we might get some value on. Marcus Pettersson and Tyler Myers on the second pair, and Elias Pettersson and Derek Forbert on the third pair. Victor Mancini, Pierre-Olivier Joseph as depth guys. Average, the top pair is obviously great. The top pair is obviously dependable minute eaters for the Canucks. We'll see how the two Petterssons do, how they can play here. Tyler Myers getting up there in age, but a big guy. Derek Forbert, hopefully he can provide some defense here for the Canucks. And goaltending, Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen. Demko, a wild card. If he can get back to that elite goaltender that he was, that he's been in the past, and can stay healthy, then the Canucks could be dangerous. They could actually be a very good team. But if he struggles, and they got to rely on Kevin Lankinen, who was great at times last year as well, can he be great again this year? We'll have to see. So, question marks with the goaltending. I think it could be very strong. I think it could be also some ups and downs. So, interested to see how the Canucks start the season, how the goaltending is, how Demko plays this season. Future bets, none. I was looking at Quinn Hughes at his point prop, but there's just no value there. Otherwise, nothing that really jumped off the page for me. So, unfortunately, no future bets for the Canucks. Again, they're a team that I could see being in the top 3 or in the top 4, but I could also see them at 5th or 6th if things don't go well. So, not really sure when it comes to future bets for Vancouver. And finally, the last team, broken 31 teams down. Now we're on team 32 throughout the 4 shows. Vegas Golden Knights, Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, and Mitch Marner. So if you look at this forward group for the Vegas Golden Knights, Mitch Marner, not the only forward addition, because Colton Sisson's there in the 4th line. Looks like a Vegas jersey, but it's a Nashville jersey, of course. So can't forget about Colton Sissons. But obviously, Mitch Marner, the big addition here for the Vegas Golden Knights, and just provides their top 6 with an extremely talented playmaker. Looking at that top line, Jack Eichel is going to score some goals. Ivan Barbashev is going to score some goals this year. So 2 players I would be looking at for anytime goal props throughout the year. Riley Smith, William Karlsson, and Mark Stone as the second line. Very decent second line. Hoping the Vegas will be hoping to get a little bit more from Riley Smith this year. But maybe he moves around the lineup. But Wild Bill and Captain Mark Stone, good offensive players for the Golden Knights. Brandon Saad, Thomas Hertl, and Pavel Dorofeyev on that third line. Again, like other teams, I like the third line, and that's the line I'm going to be looking at. Brandon Saad, maybe not so much, but Thomas Hertl, props. Definitely a second line for a center on a lot of teams, maybe even a first line center on some teams. And then you've got Pavel Dorofeyev, who is a sniper. He scores goals. And there's going to be value with his goal props this season. Brett Howden, Colton Sissons, and Keegan Colasar. I don't want to say a perfect 4th line, but a very strong 4th line. Keegan Colasar, great 4th line player, physical, but has the offense as well. Colton Sissons, great 4th line center. Brett Howden, decent there on the 4th line as well. Cole Schwint and Alexander Holtz, both trying to make the lineup. Overall, a very talented and strong forward group here from the Vegas Golden Knights throughout the lineup. It's not all just on line 1. There's offense throughout the lineup. Taking a look at the defense, Braden McNabb and Shea Theodore on the top pair. Noah Hannafin and Zach Whitecloud on the second pair. Jeremy Lauzon, Caden Korczak on the third pair, and Ben Hutton as an extra. Top 4, very solid. 2 very strong top 4 defensemen for the Vegas Golden Knights. This team has depth. The third pair, maybe that's where there's question marks with Lauzon and Korczak. Alex Pietrangelo on long-term injured reserve. But I think a very strong defense here. Shea Theodore assist props were money last year. Noah Hannafin went on point streaks as well. So he's a player to keep an eye on. So good defense, but also some strong offense from the Vegas defense. Goaltenders, Aiden Hill and Akira Schmid, both coming back here. Hill the goalie, the starter, Schmid the backup, and the same as last year. So we'll see how these guys do. Aiden Hill obviously played very well for Vegas. I know he had some kind of down spots at times last year, but a lot of goalies go through that. Overall, Decent goaltending, maybe that's where the question marks are. But again, like we've talked about with a lot of the other teams, goalies that's where most of the question marks are. But Adin Hill plays well. Doesn't have to be an elite goaltender. Just has to be average or slightly above average with the lineup that's in front of him. Player future bets. Pavel Dorofeyev, 30-plus goals, plus 140. Last year, he had 35 goals, 17 assists, 52 points, and 82 games played. Like I said, he's a sniper. He's a goal scorer. Yes, looking like to be on the third line. I think he'll move up at times. I think he'll get power play time, at least definitely on the second power play, maybe top power play time as well at some points. 35 goals last year. I don't think that was a fluke. I do not think that was a fluke at all. So can he hit 30 again? Yeah, I think so. This Vegas team is going to be very good this year. Plus 140. Pavel Dorofeyev, 30-plus goals, probably something I pull the trigger on. And then Jack Eichel, 30-plus goals, minus 120 I saw at DraftKings. Eichel, the last 3 seasons, 27, 31, and 28 goals, playing in 67 games played, 63 games played, and 77 games played. So Eichel's missed some time to injury, both the last 3 years. Now, having Mitch Marner, playmaker, the pass guy, the guy that sets you up to score, as long as Eichel stays healthy, he's hitting this 30 goals total. He could hit 40 goals as well. I expect a lot of goals from Eichel this year. Like I said, his anytime goal prop will be something I bet a lot. As long as he can stay healthy, I like him to hit this total. So minus 120, I know not the best value. Maybe if you look at 40 goals, like I said, but last year, 28, 31, 27, he hasn't got to the 40 goal range. But having Mitch Marner beside you is really going to help. Unless we see Marner surprise people and start shooting the puck a bit more instead of being the playmaker, then maybe that would affect it. But both of these guys are going to be goal scorers for the Vegas Golden Knights this year. And that's it. I've now gone over all 32 teams' depth for defense goaltending. Make sure to check out the other shows and look at each team. It's great that you guys can see each team compared to each other. So let me know in the comments what you think about the different teams. And now it's time for the Pacific team rankings. I will rank all 8 teams from number 8 to number 1. At number 8, I have the San Jose Sharks. And I really don't want to put the Sharks at number 8. But got to look at it from last year, obviously looking to this year. To start the season, the Sharks have to be at number 8. Can they move up? I think so. And I'm confident in saying that next year, the Sharks team won't be at the bottom of the division. If they do finish at the bottom of the division this year, they do have another rough season this year. I can understand that. But they're not going to be bottom feeders next year. So the future very bright for the Sharks. They are going to be a money maker for me this year, especially with player props. I'm confident in that. But win-wise, I don't know if they're going to rack up the wins. So ultimately, they start the season at number 8. Number 7, I have the Calgary Flames. Now, this is a team I think could potentially move around. I think they can move up. Don't know that they move down. They just have the goalie advantage here. Much stronger goaltending than San Jose. But I don't think this Flames team will score more goals than San Jose. I think the Sharks will score more. But the Flames, I think, will be much stronger at defending goals. So putting them at 7, I think that's a good spot for the Flames at this point. I know Flames fans are going to be saying, oh, you should have them higher. And maybe they will. Maybe they will surprise me. and they move up throughout the season. Number 6, I have the Seattle Kraken, and I think it makes sense to have them here at number 6. But if all those players that kind of had down years last year have better years this year, I could see the Kraken being a better team. But at this point, I think 6 is a good spot for them. Number 5, the Anaheim Ducks. I think the Ducks are going to improve. And I think obviously you want to have Mason Marchment sign. I don't think they're going to get off to a horrible start. That's why I have them ranked here above Calgary and Seattle. I love the goaltending. I love the left side of the defense. And they've got talented offensive players as well. Quenneville as a head coach, I think he's going to get the most out of those guys. Right now, Anaheim starts at number 5. Number 4, the Vancouver Canucks. Wasn't quite sure where to put the Canucks, but ultimately settled here on number 4. I think they're a little bit better than the other teams. I think they're going to have an improved year this year, and I could see them moving into the top 3. If Thatcher Demko can go back to elite Thatcher Demko, if they can get some elite goaltending, Quinn Hughes stays healthy, has a monster year, Pettersson has a great year, I think the Canucks could move up in my power rankings. Maybe move down, though, as well, if things don't go well. The Kings, I have at 3 here, just because they have a very solid roster from top to bottom. I like the forward group, the defense, the goaltending. Darcy Kemper, when he's healthy and playing well, he's a very, very good goaltender. And I like the forward group for the Kings overall. So I have them here at number 3. And number 2 is the Edmonton Oilers. I think there's going to be ups and downs for the Oilers this year, but as long as McDavid and Draisaitl stay healthy, this team is going to be a top 3 team in the division. We've seen them get off to really bad starts and then catch fire and get back into the playoff race. So maybe the Oilers start the season off cold, and maybe they fall in my power rankings in a couple weeks, but ultimately I think they'll finish in the top 3 when all is said and done. And the best team, in my opinion, in the Pacific Division is the Vegas Golden Knights. Offense, defense, goaltending just has to be average, but I like their goaltending better than Edmonton. Adding Mitch Marner, I think this team is going to be a very strong regular season team, and I think they are a good team to look at for the division. I didn't include them for the division. I probably should have, but that will probably be something I actually look at as well. But let me go and take a look. Let me go take a look, and we will see what the odds are for the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Pacific Division. Let's see here. Oh, plus 155, Edmonton plus 170. So not a ton of value there, plus 155, because the Oilers, obviously, if they do get any kind of good goaltending with the offense they do have, they could be number 1. So not the best value overall, but something to consider if you like Vegas as much as I do this year. And that's it. We finished all 4 NHL Division preview shows. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And super excited. Picks on Net is coming back soon. The NHL is right around the corner. Hockey is back. Super excited. Let me know what you agreed with me about, what you disagreed with me about. Let me know in the comment section below. And let me know how you rank the 8 teams here in the Pacific Division. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next shows. Obviously not division preview shows, but on the next shows on the channel. Thanks, guys.